Good evening, everyone. Today I want to be making a video that is an update to the initial review I did of this watch, the SARB017 Alpinist. This is a pretty universally loved watch that almost everyone that I've ever talked to loves and universally praises. They may not like the size, it may not be right for them, but they think the watch is incredible. And I agree. On the front, at least, this whole, like, the dial of this watch is second to none. It's very unique. It's incredibly legible. You know, even if you get a really weird angle like this and the sun's shining on it, since there's no AR, you can still see it because of the applied indices. It's a great watch, and I wouldn't be surprised if I get another one someday. But I do have a couple things that I wish were different about the watch. I'm not very impressed with the 6R15 movement. The power reserve is better, but it's not any more accurate than my regular Seiko watches, and it runs slow. My other 6R15 also ran slow, so you know, I've had literally at least a dozen other Seiko watches with the 4R or 7S movements, and all of them were easily within COSC specs from the factory, and they were much cheaper models. So this one easily runs within Seiko specs. It's probably like minus 10 to 15 a day, but I don't know. I take an issue to the fact that Seiko would charge nearly double for a watch that has a movement that is, in case of timekeeping, incredibly inferior, in my opinion, to the 7S and 4R. So that's a very minor niggle. I mean, obviously it keeps time to well within what Seiko considers acceptable for this movement, but once you're spoiled with the other Seiko movements, I don't know, just an issue. The other issue I have is that the lume is, while it's excellent, it's easily legible throughout the night for what most people would consider for their needs. For a field watch, and as a replacement for the Explorer, because that's kind of what this is for me, this is just, the lume is not incredibly impressive. The hands are excellent, and the intensity and longevity is excellent on the little dots along the edge of the dial, but just the size of them makes it hard to focus on them at night if you're using them, like if you're actually awake at night and you're using this watch like outside in the field. It's just hard to look down quickly and see what time it is just because the dots are very small. In fact, it's incredibly impressive to me that they make these dots last all night legibly, because I mean they're probably less than a millimeter across. So I'm impressed by what Seiko does with their lume, but I just wish they could have found a way to make the lume bigger on this watch without sacrificing these applied indices. Let's see, I wore it skiing. It's fine. It's a little heavy. I wore it on the bracelet and on the NATO. I prefer it on the NATO, honestly. I do love the bracelet. I think the bracelet would be fine for an everyday guy, but for someone who likes to like PT on a watch, go running, never take it off, this watch is not always the best fit. So that's my primary issue with this watch. Is it's an excellent watch. I mean, if I had to rate it objectively, I'd probably give it a 9 out of 10 for bang for buck and value. And especially if you were willing to put a little time into finding, you know, just the right bracelet or strap that you liked, maybe having it regulated if you want something a little more accurate, so on and so forth. This would be easily a keeper forever, you know, one watch kind of watch. But it's also a little thick. I get that it's a 20 bar watch, 200 meter water resistant, but all that beautiful taper and curve to the lugs is basically ruined by the fact that the case back is, you know, it's very thick. And it's a field watch. I mean, I get that they wanted to do a 200 meter watch, but you don't need to do a 200 meter watch for a field watch. And no one's going to take it diving anyway, because this internal rotating bezel is a fundamental flaw that if it gets bashed or banged against just the right way, or rotated excessively, or some dust gets into that, since it doesn't screw down, you could get some water intrusion. That's why very few modern dive watches have internal dive bezels. So I think they could have kept to 100 meter water resistance and made the watch maybe a mil thinner, and then it'd be hovering around 11 mils thick, and it'd be a perfect field watch. So that's all I've got for this watch. I sold it to a good friend Patrick on the IWA forum, and I'm sure he'll love it. None of the things I'm saying here detract in any way from the objective value of this watch. It's definitely one of the best watches Seiko's ever made. It's just not the right watch for me. So Hope everyone enjoyed this video and found it helpful, and I'll see you in the comments. Bye.